All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I truly mean it this time. Obviously, didn't want to go with the delay there with these podcasts. We like to have it happen live, for that fun factor. Maybe look at the chat and get some input from them. Anyways, we are now officially back here on Honcast, and we are tuning into the Honcast podcast, and what is February 22nd, 2013. So, of course, I'm Breaking CBK. All around the board here, I want to go over my co-casters first things first. So, once again, going to be joined by Milk Fat. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing even better now than I was.
Awesome. Step up. That's what I like to hear. Also, Emperor, again, been doing this a lot of co-casting with me lately. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing terrible, Breaky. Get me out of here.
Still the same. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Still,
So hopefully that'll get
terrible.
better. Of course, and then finishing things off as far as the hosts go, we are going to be joined by Beef, aka Beef from Complexity. How you doing, buddy?
I've been out of town and sick, and I haven't gotten to play or watch Han all week, so I'm also terrible.
Nice.
But I'm looking forward to talking about it.
Nice. So you're ready for this podcast then?
I am.
You are prepared.
All week long I've been waiting.
Right on. All right. So for those of you tuning into the podcast, obviously, hopefully by now you've have a general idea of what we do here. This is I think we've been doing this for just over a month now, if not a little bit longer. Basically, it's all about having fun in the end. But really, with this last week, hence the weekly podcast, we come on, we talk about basically what happened from Han Tour to perhaps some roster changes to some big news like we do have today that we're going to be announcing a little bit later on. So again, just having some good discussions, having some good news put out there for you guys to tune into and kind of get your fill of Heroes of New Earth and what took place in case if you missed any of it. So with that said, don't think there's any point to really delay this any further here. Obviously, getting me started a little bit late, but we are here now ready to talk some Heroes and Newers. So first things first, want to get into, as we usually do, want to start with the good old Han Tour. Han Tour cycle number 6 officially. Well, it started, of course, last weekend. It's going to be wrapping up this weekend. But with cycle number 6, we had some interesting results, as we usually do here when it comes down to it. And, in fact, just wanted to quickly pull it up on my screen right here. There we go. So, as far as, where things stand right now, we do have up in the winner's side, it looks like Trademark Esports once again getting that far. Of course, they're going to be taking on now Complexity. And then you have TT Esports Alliance in the losers bracket, and then Q Squad State Green also in the losers bracket. So, when you look at it, we have 6 of the top teams according to the standings. All 6 of them are actually remaining here in cycle number 6. Go figure. Yeah, I just put the math together. Actually, holy crap. Anyways, as we like to do, kind of go through anything that stood out to you guys from cycle number 6 so far. Sam, we'll start with you, buddy, as you start chewing on some food.
Obviously, the biggest thing is going to be the Complexity and State Green series.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of what happened or how it played out, Complexity is on top. They are in the winners bracket, and that's big. It's about damn time that they're back up there. This is the age-old rivalry that we've been seeing since June of 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Complexity versus Trademark Esports, and I think this is the first time where I've seen them in that position in the winners bracket in a really long time, and that's what's getting me excited.
Yeah.
I'm pretty disappointed with Absolute Legends, how they turned out. They went in, they looked pretty strong. They 2-1 against Pencils, who I consider a very good team. And they actually ended up losing to Afraid 2-0, which was pretty disappointing to me. QSQ has been doing really well this cycle. They 2-0'd Afraid, as well as beating the other Q Squad. So they've been doing well, and I think QSQ versus Stay Green, that's going to be a big matchup. Knowing that one of those teams is going to be placing 5th and 6th could really, shape up the standings for next cycle.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely can. And all 3 matchups that we have going into this weekend, from the winners finals to the loser bracket, again, all very, very good matchups for sure. Emperor, what about you? Anything for you that stood out?
Yeah, well, first off, the Fire Rises versus Trademark Esports, second cycle in a row where the Fire Rises actually wins game 1.
Yep.
It's interesting because I think the Fire Rises is still very much like an experimental developmental team. So the fact that they were able to take a game off of, the currently ranked #1 team in the Han scene,
yeah,
pretty damn impressive, and maybe speaks a bit to their strategy. I saw they ran early game strategies pretty much every time with virtually no hard late game, just pretty much straight up mid, gank heroes, Magnus, etc., Nymphora, Pebbles, maybe things like that. So, in cycle number 5, I believe it was, they actually almost took out Trademark Esports with that Defiler game. Here they took the first game off of it. Will we see them it's really hard for them to gain ground in Hontor, seeing how they have to fight off against, pretty much trademark every single cycle here in Diamond. And I forget, how did they actually do in the lower bracket this time?
Well, that's the interesting thing. It actually turns out they did lose to Pencils 2-1 in the first round. So that means TFR is going down to the gold division. And
Womp womp.
it's exactly. Go ahead.
I will say this about that series, though. I got to cast the last game and a half in that series. It was really early because they rescheduled it.
That's right, yeah.
And it was a really good series. Like, a really, really good series. I mean, the second game went to Mega Creeps, and TFR almost came back against Mega Creeps and almost won the game. The entire series was, like, over 4 hours long. That's because all the games went, like, 80 minutes. So
Jeez.
It was a really, really good series.
Yeah, that's credit to Pencils as well. As Sam stated, Pencils is definitely a team that's, they've had their runs, and they are an impressive team lately, kind of in that mid-tier right now in that Diamond Division, but they can definitely compete with the best of the best. And TFR, you're right, it is unfortunate for them that, back-to-back cycles now matched up against TDM because of the fact that they, picked up a team and went to 0 points as a result of that, but that's just how it is. They knew that's a challenge that was going to be against them, and they've given TDM no doubt, as you stressed there, winning both first games in both cycles. But this time, they're going to be knocked down at gold now. And sure, they're going to be gold favorites, I think it's safe to say. And you do get a fair amount of points for winning gold. So let's be honest. This could be that blessing in disguise in a sense.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, it's not necessarily this is the end of the world for them. Because actually, if they do win, that's the same as 5th, 6th place finish in Diamond. It's pretty respectable. So that's something to look at, too, from their situation at least. So.
Yeah. Outside of that, the other thing it took note, obviously there was the Pencils versus, I believe it was Pencil versus
TTE
AL game. No, the Pencils versus AL game. Yeah, AL won that game.
Yeah.
But that was like, in my opinion, watching that game, I gave Pencils maybe a 99.9% repeating 100% chance of victory in that game. I had no idea they could lose it, but they just got really impatient, forced into the base, and AL did win that series, but it was sort of like a huge... Pencils defeated themselves, more or less. And the final one being the Complexity Stay Green series, I think we all know what happened there. And I actually had Stay Green winning that match at the point of the pause. I think I've been rooting for Complexity to regain their former glory, and I think they're well on their way to it. I do want to see them at the top of the scene again. And not the top 3 is not the top of the scene, but I want to see them, make that climb again to number 1. I want to see that happen. But in that match, I actually thought Stray Green was going to take that victory pretty handedly. Were they not to lose Chessie? So
let's kind of transition here. Obviously, that's a topic that we did want to kind of discuss. And no, I'm glad you brought it up because again, it's a good transition there in the sense of the Stay Green versus Complexity series. And obviously, we're casting that here on Hogcast, and let's just say, some drama ensued. There's plenty of discussion after the fact when it was all said and done. But basically, if you happen to miss it or whatever, again, that's kind of a point of this podcast. Going to recap you. So. Pretty much what happened, we were tied at 1 game apiece. We're going into Game 3. It was an excellent series. Game 3 even was turning out to be a very, very good game. It was going to be a great, great series in the end, a great finish, and to see who'd move on to play Trademark. It was about maybe 35, 40 minutes. I forget the exact time. Anyways, it was about mid-game, it's safe to say. Complexity, they had a farm Draconis on their team. But Stay Green seemed like they did have a little better team makeup, and they were starting to snowball as a team, as they usually do in their victories. But there came to a point where Chessie ended up DCing. We waited through, it was 30 minutes total, I believe. We waited through 3 whole 10-minute pauses. And then ultimately it was brought by the admins that, okay, here's the deal. Complexity, it's ultimately up to your call. Do you want to remake the match? Do you want to remake the series even they were talking about? But I think it came down, do you want to remake just the 1 game? Or do you just want to finish this out 4 versus 5 and, whatever happens, happens? Complexity did choose to finish it out 4 versus 5. And again, it's understandable, obviously, especially, because in their mind, and it's obviously a very fine line, because if this was a clearly one-sided game, I do understand, Emperor, that you're saying SG had a favor in your mind.
In their favor, I didn't say they necessarily had the game. It was in my mind they would have won, but it wasn't like so clear-cut, maybe 70-30 odds in my book.
It's one of those cases you can't clearly call a winning team by any means. I even think either the Experience or Gold was in advantage of Complexity at the time, and obviously that's got to mean something. So, yeah, it was a very fine line. In the end, Complexity, of course, they did win at 5 versus 4. Let's be honest, not the most difficult at that point. and they are moving on. So there is that asterisk there. Obviously, I want to go around the board now and kind of give you guys a chance to give your take on this situation, what you thought of it. So Sam, we'll start with you. I mean, what did you think of this whole circumstance here?
You know, it's unfortunate that it happened, but situations like that are going to happen. I've had talks with my admin team since then, and I think that we're all on the same page. I actually happened to be out of town that weekend. My lovely girlfriend was visiting. And I think we're all under the same page that it was approached the wrong way. The outcome was the same. In the future, it should have just been, boom. I mean, you got to play on. There's no remake. We're 35 minutes into a game. I mean, you can't just remake a series like that. It's too close to call. Teams have worked too hard. They had a lineup in mind. It's unfair to Complexity to have them remake. And yeah, it sucks for Stay Green, but hey, I mean, this is esports. If you're here to play games for $4,000, then you need to secure that, hey, my internet's going to be good. I'm going to be able to compete. I have everything going for me to do so. It's a shame that it was the third game because, you know, if it was the second game, they could have got a ringer or something. Mm-hmm. It sucks that it happened, but that's how it's going to be. It should have been, boom, play on immediately. He's not coming back. Let's get the series going. Let's go on. You know, that's all there is. That's my take on it, and that's how it's going to be handled in the future from us and the admins.
Yeah. Beef, what about your situation on this?
I agree a lot with what Sam said. I mean, when you're that far into a game, there's no option to remake at that point. And the admins, they did their best, like Sam said. And I love the admins. I give them a shout out all the time on my stream because they do great work. But it sucks for the Complexity team, for sure. And now, even though they have that win, even though we're going into the third place match, you've got that asterisk on your win. Mm-hmm. Did that happen or did it not? And so hopefully in the future, Chessie, he can have his internet fixed up. And hey, I mean, he's moved into the SG house now.
Yeah, he's in Miami.
So if somebody internet goes out,
it's all SG.
You know, they're all gone.
Emperor, you want to say something here?
Well, I was just confused. I was just sort of thinking back. How is it actually? I mean, it was Complexity's choice actually. Complexity Hacksaw was even saying, "Don't worry about it, guys. We're okay with waiting to see if he came," and that's why they waited the 30 minutes. They waited the 30 minutes simply to see if they could get him to come back because they called him. He was on the phone. He's like, "Oh, you know, the internet's down. We're trying to get it back up," and you know, Complexity was just doing an honorable thing. So, and that's the reason they waited the full extent. They weren't waiting to try to argue the point so much. I mean, in the end, they knew it would be a decision from the start, but they were waiting just to see if he would reconnect in time. I'm pretty sure they knew that they would play on inherently. So. I didn't know exactly what was wrong with how it was handled because I thought Complexity was just showing them courtesy. I mean, obviously they were happy with what happened, but...
Yeah. Let me, I guess, rephrase what I'm saying. I guess so. This is the thing: is that Complexity was given the option by the Hontour admins to either remake the game or play on. What I'm saying is that in the future, it's going to be play on. There's not going to be
in the future. Game.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Would that be the case even if the team wanted to show courtesy by remaking it, would just sort of be forced to go on, or would they actually have that choice as players to make that decision? I'm just curious.
It's circumstantial. If 35 minutes into the game, they're gonna tell you to play on. If it's 9 minutes in past the remake and the team's like, oh shit, that really sucked, like let's remake. Yeah, I mean, you got to obviously take everything by case. But in situations like that where, hey, it's 25 minutes past, even if it's a close game, I mean, you have to play on.
Yeah. Okay.
It's happened in multiple esports, you know, for years now that, you know, you give the player the option to remake or take the win or play on. And no matter what decision that player or that team makes, they look bad. They're either going to give their opponent an opportunity to get back into the game and they're going to lose or something, or they're going to look like the bad guy by saying, oh, I wasn't confident enough to play them again. I had to take the forfeit win. So they get guff from everybody all around. So that's what Sam's saying with the admins.
Yeah,
that's what I think we're getting from this in the end. It's ultimately a case, and I've always been a huge advocate of this. As an admin, as respectable as they are, and they need to be, of course, and they do a fantastic job. You have to just man up and give a decision. You can't leave it in the hands of the teams because we get situations like this constantly where it puts it on them, and that just isn't fair. As an admin, that should be your responsibility to make a call whether or not it's going to be liked or not. So, So yeah, but in the end, Complexity moving on, Stay Green dropping down. I mean, that's obviously the other perspective, and the kind of cool perspective is that State Green may very likely have another shot at complexity, whether it's in that losers finals or even the grand finals if things work out that way. You talk about a rematch there that a lot of people will be intrigued by for many reasons. It's going to be a lot of fun. But also, yeah, something else to take from that, Chessie has now officially moved into Miami. I know he's hooked up. I know that he's currently playing on a laptop, from my understanding. He's still waiting for his actual computer to get in, but it should be there by this weekend, apparently. So yeah, that's kind of the deal on that, and but we do want to get things moving along here. So as far as last weekend, there you go. Now this coming weekend here on Honcast and, of course, with Hon Tour, let's talk about these matchups. I mean, obviously, so again, you have TDM versus Complexity. You talk about a good old classic, old-school matchup. It seems like it's been a while since we've seen this. But, again, these are two teams that definitely have a history against one another. And it's also a case of Risers, making his stay with Complexity, trying to make his impact as well, you could say. So, TDM versus Complexity. Do you guys think it's going to be TDM once again, or will Complexity shock us here, Sam?
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see Complexity win, but I think TDM's going to pull it off 2-1.
Yeah. What about you, Emperor?
I kind of agree with what Sam said. If not 2-1, then 2-0. I mean, we've been seeing the SG Complexity matchup a lot, not as much of the TDM Complexity, but I think it'll sort of be where they left off. TDM hasn't shown any signs of really slowing down outside of their loss to State Green in the GSL. That being said, I've seen Complexity scrimming. I think they do have the capacity for upset, so I wouldn't write them off of upsetting. I'm not going to say, it's decisively 2-0, but yeah, no, TDM, in my book, probably is going to 2-0 them this weekend, but they're not far behind.
Beef, what about you?
I gotta say, I think the Cole Haan team is looking rejuvenated. I've been talking to them. They've been saying that they're feeling strong. I gotta give this 2-1 Cole.
Biased.
Yeah, it's true. Hey, I don't have my Cole shirt on right now, but next week.
Very true, very
next
true.
week. But I can be super biased.
Okay, but so this is actually an interesting twist I want to take on this too. Now with this whole Complexity and, well, specifically trademark situation, Sam, you kind of hinted on it. You may want to see Complexity win, but you can just kind of feel TDM's on a run right now. Same with you, Emperor. I actually agree with you guys. I do think TDM will pull it off. Now let's look at it from this perspective. If TDM happens to win yet another cycle, is that a bad thing here for Hon Tour? Is it getting to a point where, okay, things are a little bit too top-heavy now with Trademark Esports being so dominant? What do you guys think, Sam?
I don't think necessarily it's a bad thing. I think that, hey, if you win, it should be like, hey, I've secured my spot. I'm the best. I don't need to worry about it. But of course, they're still going to come out every single week and try to win.
Yeah.
Are you asking if maybe 8 cycles is too long? Is that kind of what you're...
Well, no, I mean, I'm just making a point that TDM's, once they're remaining to be the #1 team, they're not being knocked off, other than that Cycle 3, of course. I mean, so that's kind of where I'm getting at. Is that, a bad thing? Do we want other teams to win, or, hey, this is just fine?
Oh, I mean, obviously we want other teams to win. I mean, a good game, a good, fun atmosphere to watch is when you never really know who's going to win. Is that when you go into a grand finals matchup, you're like, damn, either of these teams could win, but I like this team more because of I love this player because of this reason. It really promotes you being attracted to a team and becoming a fan of that team.
Yeah.
If one team is just way too good, it's really hard for you to develop a love for a different team because they're not winning. I mean, nobody wants to love a team that's not winning. I mean, it's really hard. You'll find those diehard fans that are like, oh, I'm a Moomienda fan no matter what, like, yeah, I am. I love Moon. But it's hard to root for somebody that isn't consistently being in that grand final spot.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel.
Yeah. Emperor?
I mean, I think it only takes like pretty much a 5% difference in team skill to be that overwhelming factor between a victory and a loss, usually as far as consistency goes. So, yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing that they're winning, but I just don't think everyone's that far behind. It's not some sort of huge skill gap that no one's able to approach. I mean, it is close by.
That's very true. You're right, and it's not because again, as the series that we haven't seen, and forget, in fact, State Green defeating Trademark Esports in that GSL qualifier. I mean, that right there shows you that definitely there are the teams that can not only, of course, compete with them, but then beat them. TFR take an even game out there now twice in a row. So, but yeah, it's not like they're too dominant by any means, but. Facts speak for themselves. They won 4 to the 5 cycles and are in a good spot to maybe even take another cycle here. So, Beef, what about you?
No, I absolutely don't think that it's a bad thing for the scene that they're winning a lot, and if they won another one, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it shows just how high we can get the skill level, because they don't play perfect. Trademark Esports doesn't go out there and make perfect decisions, have perfect drafts every single time. It shows just how far we can go and just how even more skilled we can get. And I think it gives the other players something to aspire toward. If you have 5 teams that are all fighting for first place, that's great from a viewer perspective, but it's not like all of them are fighting as hard. I don't know. When you have that one really top team, it makes all the other guys right below them want to fight even harder.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's not a bad thing.
Fair points. All right, so real quickly before we move on here, because I do want to keep it moving, but want to give our final predictions for cycle number 6. Let's talk about the finals. What will the series be? Who will be on top? Sam, quick fire. We'll start with you.
We're going to see Trademark Esports versus Complexity in the grand finals. And Trademark's going to win 3-0.
All right. TDM 3-0. Emperor, what about you?
You really think we're going to see Complexity, Sam?
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, they're starting out with an advantage here. I mean, there definitely is an uphill battle for Stay Green this cycle. And they've been doing really good in scrims this week. I'm going to say TDM Stay Green one more time. I think Complexity is really close there, but not quite yet. Give it one more cycle. I'm expecting to see the Complexity squad in the finals next cycle. Yeah. I'm feeling like it'll slip out of the grass this one.
All right, Beef, what about you?
I've got TDM Complexity with Cole taking it 3-2. I think that I would give it to SG. I would put them in there if Chessie hadn't just traveled this week and if he wasn't playing on a laptop. But I think that's actually going to affect their performance this weekend.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, and so that leads to my prediction. I'm going to throw a curveball here. I got Q Squad defeating Stay Green. I got Q Squad going all the way to the finals. They're going to lose to TDM, though, 3-1. How about that? So TDM over Q Squad, 3-1, but Trademark ultimately will be your Cycle 6 champion. So, Nova, don't let me down now. Just like you did at DreamHack, unfortunately. They were going to do so much better. Let's see if it works out this time, though. All right. So, anyways, let's move on now to the next topic that we wanted to bring up. And actually, I want to go ahead and now bring this up to Sam here. We got some fairly big news here today. Kind of some coverage coming up, to say the least, as that's going to be happening here with a big event. So Sam, you want to give us some details on what some plans are specifically with the Sound Blaster event?
Yeah, as you guys know, S2 Games and Creative Labs, parent company of Sound Blaster, have entered into a very good partnership. The first of that was this Sound Blasters Hero League, which is providing us really consistent coverage the past 8 weeks. The 8 finalists have finally been chosen, and they're going to be playing against the 8 teams that were seeded and hand-chosen by Sound Blaster. So we're entering in a 16-team, $30,000 tournament, which is great. It was awesome that, Sound Blaster came in as a third party and really helped bring the competitive scene to a new level. What's even greater is that we are going to be partnering up with them, and we're going to be there at PAX East at Boston from March 22nd to the 24th, and we will be casting Han Tour live from Boston in PAX East. This is the first time that Han has been at a North American event and convention, and I can't even tell you the last time.
It's been a while.
So it's really exciting for us to get back out there, to get on the stage, to be in front of thousands of live people, and to really just put on a great show. I'm pumped. Creative's pumped. I know we have a lot more, plans besides just PAX. I know that we plan on being at a lot more events in 2013. So you guys, you're in for an awesome partnership. You guys are going to see a lot more of Creative and S2 together, hopefully all around the world.
Yeah. Yeah, no, again, $30,000 prize pool ultimately being on the line there. It's a lot of money, of course, and on top of prizes. So it's a pretty big deal, to say the least. Now, I actually have a schedule here on my screen, so if we want to cut to that real quickly, give you guys an idea of what to expect from a coverage standpoint now. So, as you can see, this awesome graphic made here by Sound Blaster sent over to us. Things will kick off on Monday. That's March 4th. There you notice. It'll be a 2-week event, basically. And as you may also notice, we're going to be covering every single match. I may say we're a little bit lightly because it's going to be both Honcast as well as Colecast, of course, as you see there. So Colecast including Beef and whichever co-caster, of course, you plan to have. So So your guys are going to be kicking things off the first 2 days. You got a couple of round of 16 matches. We'll finish off the week, and then basically the same thing the second week. Starting off with Colecast and then finishing off with Honcast there, all the way into the finals of March 14th. So that's kind of an idea of what to expect when it comes to a schedule point of view. So Beef, obviously, again, you're going to be a big coverage part of this as you have been throughout this whole event. You excited, man?
I am very excited. When we were trying to get everything scheduled out, all I wanted to do was make sure that we were able to cast as much of this as possible because it's going to be incredible games.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to find out today who our 16th team is, whether it's going to be that SEA team, NXL Focus Esports, or Cats Gaming from the CIS region. Looking forward to covering them as well as Orange to get the international side of things. And it's just going to be a phenomenal event all around. 16 of the top teams in the world, $30,000, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
That's a lot of money, again, especially for just a 2-week event right there. So I actually do have the brackets now on my screen as well. Again, we still are waiting on that one more result, which we are going to be covering here after this podcast. We'll actually be doing a replay cast. They played very early on this morning, apparently. But we'll be covering that last qualifying event, which was the Southeast Asian team known as Focus Gaming, going up against Cats Gaming, who was representing the CIS region. So that's going to be that. But actually, so let's go back to the brackets though real quickly here, because again, there's obviously some matchups to talk about and eventually on. So again, you get kind of an idea of what we're dealing with here with the brackets and how big of a tournament this actually is. Again, a $30,000 prize pool. I don't have the exact prize split in front of me. It's a lot for first. I want to say it was something like $12K for first place, I believe. So,
yeah,
a lot of good money. A lot of good money on the line there against 2 weeks. And it's ultimately just a lot more content and a lot more coverage. So, really am looking forward to this, and hopefully you guys are as well. Emperor, I mean, do you have any takes on this whole thing and this whole event coming up?
I mean, the same as any other major event, man. I mean, it's a ton of great teams. There's going to be a ton of great coverage. Doesn't really seem much different than a Hontor cycle, except for maybe more is on the line, though. I mean, it's just a lot of great coverage. It's good for the scene. More high contention matches, and that's pretty much it. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun, and also as Sam also touched on too, the PAX announcement, how Honcast is planning to go out to the PAX event in Boston, and we will be covering what's going to be the final weekend of Cycle 8. So obviously we got a couple of days there. If you happen to be in that area, definitely stop by. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll be covering for you guys online though, of course, and gonna be a lot of fun. Again, that's going to be the finish to Hontur regular season, really, leading up to those grand finals. So clearly a very big deal there indeed. So yeah, looking forward to that. Anything else from Sam perhaps on the situation before we move on here about the creative? No, it doesn't look like it. Caught you off guard. Okay, so well, I want to go ahead and actually, I do know we had an interview planned with he's known as Ryan here. I don't if we want to actually try to bring him on the call now. He is I believe he's in the call. Is he actually not there? He's not anymore. B, if you want to go ahead and re-add him if you could.
Yeah, 1 sec.
Unfortunately, he's not on my friends list. But anyways, this is apparently he's the product marketing manager for Creative. And we wanted to basically just have him come on and kind of talk about what's the deal with these events, why are they even doing so much with Han, and obviously thanking him and seeing what the future holds perhaps with Creative and Heroes and Newers. So okay, can you actually drag him into the call?
It's not letting me.
It's not
I
letting
did it earlier.
Oh,
I added him already.
Click on the plus and then go to add people to this call.
Skype is tough, man.
It is. There we go.
I got him in here.
Is it working?
Woo!
Okay. Do you see
Whoa.
Matt?
Nailed it.
You don't. Maybe you need to do it then or something. Maybe. Sure. He's not actually.
I see him on my screen now. He's not in the call yet. Like, he has access to it, though.
Yeah.
He can call whenever he wants, I think.
Same here. Maybe we can tell him to join the call if he's there. Well, anyways, if we don't have him on here shortly, we'll just we'll move on. But yeah, I just wanted to get a business perspective basically on this whole situation with the PAX, with the Sound Blaster Heroes League. Again, $30,000 prize pool. It's a lot of money that's all being put up by Sound Blaster, by Creative. That's all on their side. So of course, it's awesome to see events like that from third parties. Definitely helping us out and whatnot. So yeah, I don't know if he's here. Unfortunately, he's responding. We want to do that. Sure. The ultimate recall. Uh-oh, here we go. Oh, jeez. As everything goes like that. Well, there's all our beautiful pictures.
Hey-o.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like he's trying to call him now. All right, let's see if he actually answers.
He's gone.
He's dodging. You don't want to know more.
AFK.
No, that's probably that. Yes, that is my picture. I should probably change that.
Hey, Ryan, you there?
I am here.
Ryan! Yes, we can hear you. How you doing, buddy? How you doing?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm doing just fine. Do you go by an alias online by chance, or should we just
I go by Digital Ronin. That's my
Digital
that's
Ronin.
my Uber call sign, I guess. It's my
Your handle. Nice.
Can I
Ronin
back from-
after the Warcraft Ronin?
What's that? No. It's actually old. Long story short, it's off of when I was doing a bunch of DJing and electronic music and stuff. I was DJ Digital Ronin, but I only chose Digital Ronin because it went down to DR, so it'd be like, "Hey, the doctor's in the house" type thing.
Okay.
Nice.
I've never told that story to anybody in the gaming world.
There you go.
Well, there we
So
go.
exclusive.
That's what we do here in Oncast. We get the secrets out. All right,
good.
obviously, I want to thank you for joining us, man. Definitely wanted to talk a little bit about this whole creative in general and partnering up with Heroes of New Earth and events that we got coming up. First off, I mean, what do you do for creative?
So I've been with Creative for quite a few years, over 10 years now, and basically I'm the product marketing manager for gaming audio and audio products. So I work with across the board. I work with the product team to make sure that feature sets are matching up with what the with what the gaming world or what the entertainment audio world desires. And since I'm kind of involved with pro gamers and then also an avid gamer myself, it just enables me to kind of affect the products and give feedback from the communities in real time to the product team.
Okay.
And that's one aspect, and the other aspect obviously is managing the day-to-day of making sure we have product out there, and working with the sales teams and all that stuff to make sure that we're putting the product in the right places for folks to get access to them.
Right on.
So it's pretty cool. It's a kind of a dream job for a geeky gamer guy like myself.
Hey, so you've been doing it for 10 years or so. I mean, that's quite a while you've been with Creative here. So
yeah. We started off. I started off actually with mice and keyboards back when we were in that category, and we had the relationship with Jonathan Fatality Wendell, and we developed those product lines, and it just kind of evolved over time and went into the audio space. So
have you yourself then you've been around the esports scene for a little bit? Then it's safe to say.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been a massive fan of esports. I mean, all the way back to the Counter-Strike days. So kind of in the infancy, StarCraft, the Brood Wars stuff. All the way through. We were hugely involved with the CGS, which obviously, as we all know, unfortunately didn't go as well as everybody planned. But I think it was a good foray and kind of a good foreshadow to where we're at right now with esports in the world.
Oh, definitely it was. All right, so again, though, want to have you come on though to talk specifically with Heroes of New Earth, of course, and well, more specifically, even this big event that we actually, Heroes of New Earth and Creative is partnering with the Sound Blaster Heroes League that we got coming up, $30,000 prize pool. You guys are putting up a lot of money for this event. I mean, what got you guys involved? Would you say?
Well, so there's a few things. It's kind of funny. I've been looking for a community that has kind of been undersaturated with the endorsements and those type of things. And obviously you have other games out there that there's a lot of eyeballs on, but there's a lot of these communities out there that have massive followings, like Heroes of New Earth. There was a Forbes article back last year where you tiered off how many hours were being played by games, and Heroes of New Earth was fourth on that list, only below some of the huge juggernauts out there. And it got me thinking. And then also Jason Bass from Complexity, obviously with one of the best teams in the world, for Han, he said, hey, you know what? Came up in conversation. He was like, what do you think? And I was like, oh man, this it's been staring me in the face the entire time. So we reached out and we got a hold of Sam, and I guess the rest of it is kind of all fell into place. And we really wanted to go into a community that we could go in and say, there's a lot of there's a lot of companies out there that say, you know, we do stuff for gamers, and they'll just throw their logo on something on a site or whatever. And we wanted to kind of take it to the next level and say, okay, how can we put our money where our mouth is and really take something and, you know, go into the community and show them, hey, we really do care about, you know, gaming, and we really do care about fostering the community and giving these guys something else to, you know, in addition to what S2 and Garena are already doing worldwide for Han, we thought it was just a cool opportunity for us to come in and do something even, you know, on our side cool. So
yeah, definitely, and again, it's no doubt already been a pretty good success as far as the qualifiers leading up. But you know, let's be honest, the main event is definitely the big attraction here for this $30,000 prize pool and everything, and we got that coming up starting at the beginning of March. So I can say for myself and another community, very excited to get that kicked off. That 16-team event that is going to be a blast. So
absolutely,
are you planning to be at PAX by chance? Are you going to be going to that? Or are you involved in that at all?
Well, I don't know. Is my buddy Sam there? Is my buddy Sam?
Yeah. I actually just made the announcement about 5 minutes ago.
Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, so we are definitely. Well, I'm definitely going to be at PAX. We're definitely going to be involved. You know, we're super excited to be partnering up, and you know, I think you're just seeing the beginnings of this partnership. I think we got a few tricks up our sleeve that'll be even cooler moving forward. Yeah. So, yeah.
Have you personally been following Han at all, Han Competitive, Han 2 or anything like that, or not really?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you know, I played Dota back in the days, and you know, I'm not going to make any claims that I'm good at it or whatever, but I really like the 5v5 dynamic. I really like the kind of micro team dynamic, and of course, you know, I've been playing Dota back in the days. That went over to League of Legends, obviously, and you know, you kind of work your way around. And then Han is kind of, to me, the skill game. You know, it's kind of like the evolution. You have all of those mechanics of the games. It's fast, it's brutal, it's merciless. You know, and what I like about it is it's really fun to watch because momentum switches so fast, back and forth. And actually, I've been watching you guys for quite some time. Obviously, as a sponsor, you know, you look at what the product is that you're associating with, and obviously, and then we have the cool, you know, factor of me being able to run around as DJ Rhapsody and everybody going, "How do you get that? How do you get that?" So that's always good to have. You know, always good to make you feel better when you're getting rolled by people. You at least look cool while you're doing it. So.
Yeah. Of course, yeah, of course.
Definitely a fan of Han. I really like the dynamic. I think the new 3.0 is amazing. I really think it's brought the game to a whole new level, and it's a lot of fun to play. I dig it a lot.
All right, well said, well said. All right, so once again, we're joined by Ryan here, the product marketing manager for Creative. I want to now give it Sam. I don't know if you had any questions that you wanted to ask him here while we have him on concerning Creative and maybe about DJ Rhapsody. I don't know, just anything.
Yeah, so, Ryan, we are going to PAX, and a lot of people have been asking, you know, DJ Rhapsody, it's been in the store for 4 months. Everybody wants it. Everybody keeps asking about it, and I think that they want to know when it's going to be available to get.
So, well, I mean, we obviously we had our giveaway, and one of the things that we do want to do is, you know, make sure that Rhapsody's something special, right? I mean, we want her, when people see her in game and they see that skin, we want them to go, okay, cool. You know, I know the dubstep's about to be dropped on the battlefield, so we're going to have continuous ways of getting her. We're trying to be innovative in ways of getting her. Right now, you know, we were doing social media stuff and all those types of things, but there's all types of other stuff. There's a wallpaper contest right now, and really what we see DJ Rhapsody is a way for the community to, when you see somebody playing DJ Rhapsody, you know they've been involved in the community at some level. You know, they're not just going in and going into the store and buying it, but they've contributed to the community in some way. And that's kind of the way that we want to integrate her, and it for it to kind of be like a badge of honor to say, hey, oh wow, yeah, I won a wallpaper contest, or hey, I was active in the community on this and involved and sharing stuff and kind of propagating Han and Sound Blaster out there. But we will have her at the booth. We're going to have this kind of awesome giveaway slot machine digital thing where people even outside of the show are going to be able to be involved and able to jump in and get their shot at winning prizes from the show as well.
Awesome.
So what we're trying to do is, to the Han community, be able to have them virtually come into the show. I mean, you guys are going to be casting from there. There's going to be all types of, the Han cast folks are going to be there broadcasting. We're going to have, guests coming in and talking. We're going to bring people into the show that don't have a chance to get out there to Boston. And this is a worldwide thing. This isn't just North America, Europe, but one of the things with Creative and with Sound Blaster is we're a worldwide, brand. We've been in gaming literally from the beginning of PC gaming. And we want to make sure that we can give the same experience to everybody worldwide, which is why we're excited about the CIS and SEA matchups going on right now, because we're able to bring in the other side of the world into this mix as well. So it's a really big accomplishment for us to be able to bring everybody, all of the Han players throughout the world into this, and we plan on doing the same thing at PAX.
Definitely. All right, man. I'm even more pumped now. I mean, obviously I've known behind the scenes about some plans and whatnot for PAX especially, but even learning more every day. And it is going to be a fun event, and it's obviously, so you guys at home, it's just because you may not get the chance to be there. It's also going to be for you guys as well. Looking forward to having a lot of fun with that. All right, Emperor Beef, do you have anything else you want to ask, or we good to...
I gotta say, slot machines, okay. I'm jealous. I wish I was there to pull that lever in person. But on the other side of the country,
we'll virtually let you pull it. And I did tell Sam there has to be a blacksmith too bad combination.
Nice. Okay.
That has to happen. That is something that will be programmed into the slot machine.
Awesome. All right.
That sounds exciting.
Definitely.
All right.
It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, Ryan, though, again, I really do want to appreciate it. Very well said. I mean, got plenty out of you, man. So hopefully, again, things continue to go well with your side on Creative. Any shout-outs you want to make here?
Just want to say, huge shout out to S2 for all their support. They've been an amazing partner, and we've partnered up with many game developers in the past, and the level of support and the professionalism that we've met with S2 has been absolutely awesome. The Garena guys over in the SEA and CIS regions have been amazing. Big shout out to Jason Bass and Jason Lake at Complexity and the Call Han team. Good luck, boys. Do us proud. And best of luck to all of the amateur teams and the pro teams that are going to be duking it out here over the next few weeks. It's going to be really cool to watch. I can't wait to watch you guys casting it and watch the streams. It's going to be sweet.
Beginning of March 3rd, I believe, or March 4th. March 3rd or March 4th, it kicks off with that $30,000 Sound Blaster Heroes League event. Going to be a lot of fun.
Can we find you on Twitter, Ryan?
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter as Digital Ronin, DIGITALRONYN. You could join us on Facebook, Sound Blaster Gaming on Facebook, or just Sound Blaster. And you can also join our Sound Blaster Twitter as well, so it's at Sound Blaster. My tweets tend to be more about gaming stuff in general. I go on a few little rants here and there, which are always amusing to everybody. But if you want the official Sound Blaster kind of our outreach and stuff, we're actively involved in there. Tian, who's on my team, she handles all of our social media. She does an awesome job of keeping content going through there and posting stuff up. So yeah, you can reach us all through there.
Digital Ronin, Digital Ronin, yeah, it's actually linked in chat right there. So definitely go ahead and follow him, guys, as well as the creative side of things. All right, once again, Ryan, really do appreciate you joining us, man, and we'll look forward to working much more with you in the future, man.
Yeah, no problem. Have a great one, guys. Thanks for having me.
See you, Ryan.
Thanks for having me.
All righty, bye.
Thank you.
There we go. All right, so great guy there, Ryan from, of course, Creative, the product marketing manager. And again, she's been with the company for 10 years, and Creative has been around esports for the longest time, and as he even brought up, with Counter-Strike, I remember, way back in those days. And it is good to see, their involvement with Han, and as he put it, this is the beginning, hopefully, of a very cool relationship that we got going on, and many more to come. So many more things. So can't wait to get things started. Again, that is the exact date, March 4th. March 4th is when it kicks off for that Sound Blaster Heroes League main event. All right. So, wanted to now just move on to what will probably be our final topic here. on the Honcast podcast. Before we do need to be wrapping things up, and then of course we got that cast planned of the CIS region taking on the Southeast Asia region for that Sound Blaster event, the last qualifier that we have to determine who the final team is actually going to be. So again, they wrote quickly the dates that we have here. Whoop, there we go.
Hey Nick,
As far as that's concerned, what's up?
there's actually one thing I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Since by the time we get there next week, it's going to be too late. GSL qualifier number 2 starts on Monday.
Oh,
Yeah, there's that.
forgot about
Yeah.
that.
There is that, by the way. You're very right, and yeah, we cannot forget about that. That is a very good point. God, yeah, it's just so many things are just coming up as far as events and as far as Sound Blaster and whatnot that
Yeah.
that was in the back of my mind. But yeah, do we know when the brackets for that are going to be released?
Yeah, Sunday at night.
Okay, Sunday night. So that starts Monday, so it'll be after Cycle 6 wraps up. It sounds like.
Yeah, I'll probably get it up like
for that.
30 or 40 minutes after.
Okay. So then, but yeah, Monday, cycle number 2, or I guess qualifier number 2, more appropriate. The top 16 teams from Hontour minus Stay Green, of course. They were your first champions. And again, what's on the line there? The trip to Thailand and a chance to compete for $60,000. Talk about a big deal. That's a really big deal right there. So again, that starts on Monday. We cast all throughout the week, as I'm sure you do as well, Beef. And then on Thursday, of course, the finals again for that. And
Predictions?
man, well, do we have to? Trademark?
We don't have the brackets up yet.
We don't know the brackets. Yeah, we can't.
Oh,
We can't
come
really
on.
do it.
I mean, we could each. I think we all can still predict who we think's going to win.
Okay, yeah, that's okay.
That's who's on the side.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Trademark Esports. There you go. Milk Fat. What do you
Trademark
think?
Esports.
Okay. Emperor?
Which one, for Sound Blaster?
No, for the
No, for
GSL.
GSL.
The second qualifier.
For
that
GSL?
starts-
Oh, yeah, trademark. Oh.
Beef.
Easily.
Are you going to be biased here?
I think trademark's gonna come hard.
Okay.
I think it's trademark.
Okay.
We're not
Emperor,
sure.
I blame you
It's
for that.
smart that wants to say complexity, but I realize I'd be fighting an uphill battle if I said that right now.
No,
Yeah.
no. I gotta be
I-
biased. I gotta be biased. Complexity.
Alright, I-
Because if Complexity wins, maybe I can somehow go to Thailand. So I have to give all of my energy. I need everyone's energy for Complexity. Like viewers, Spirit Bomb, Complexity. Or
All
Spirit
right,
Bomb.
QSQ's going to win it then. All right, how
There
about
you
that?
go.
I
No,
will
that's
say
fair.
this, though. I see Complexity winning GSL more than I see them winning a Hontour cycle.
Interesting. Yeah.
I think that they have the drive and the experience that I think that they know that, like, hey, we're going to qualify for Hontour finals. You know, let's focus all of our attention on GSL. I think that if this is their last opportunity to qualify to go to Thailand,
Mhm.
I think that they are going to step it up, because I know Moon Meander contacted me personally, and he let me know that every single day he gets 20 to 50 messages from fans in Southeast
That's
Asia
true. Yeah.
that are
Mhm.
begging for him to come, that are telling him, you have to win, Moon. You have to
Qualify.
win. He wants you in Thailand. And I know that he does not like to disappoint his fans. If there's
Mhm.
one thing Moon Meander does, it is entertain and it is provide satisfaction to his fans. And I think that he's going to do his best to deliver.
Yeah. That's a very
Well,
good
when it-
point.
And I'm saying when it's all on the line, when it's like a desperation, do or nothing, this is your last chance. A lot of things can happen. Teams bring out that X factor, so
It's true.
it'll definitely be some great games.
I think it's safe to say, well, at this rate, it'll probably be a TDM versus Complexity finals. No, I think they should be the number 1 and 2 seeds, unless I'm mistaken, because Stay Green obviously not going to be in this
Yeah.
one. So,
Yeah.
it's setting
I've
up for
got-
that.
I've got to ask, where do people put QSQ? Because we've seen them, once again, we've seen them beat all of these teams before. It's been a while. We feel like they're underperforming a little bit
Well-
here and there. We haven't seen them take, a series off one of these top teams in a couple cycles now. But we saw that one cycle where I think didn't they beat TDM and Complexity?
But just like everybody in that cycle was losing. Like it seemed like everybody that cycle was off, other than QSQ. And QSQ just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Like they were playing well, but they
Mhm.
weren't like coming up with incredible new strategies. They weren't playing out
They
of their
ran the
mindset.
Bombardier, man. They ran some really good stuff. I thought that they
Okay,
were
yeah.
running some new stuff.
They've run the Bombardier since then, and
Yeah.
they're back to being 4th, 5th, 6th.
Yeah.
Like they haven't been able to beat Complexity, Lions, or Trademark in the last 2 cycles. I don't see them winning this.
Although I have them going to the finals in cycle number 6 here, I don't think, again, the GSL is kind of that different drive. And as kind of Sam was saying, I really think Complexity and Trademark Esports, they will be the more determined teams to make it to that finals. And eventually, either one of them could win. I'm leaning towards Trademark in the end, but either one of them could. I see what you're saying. Q Squad you always have to at least consider them because of how sound they are, because of the roster that they have. I know there's been rumors lately about Nox and maybe some internal issues with them not necessarily getting along or whatever. I don't know how true those are. I heard something about Nox, not getting along or something. But
that one thread on the forums, or was it something else?
Very possible. Very possible. It's just a complete rumor thread that absolutely has no truth to it.
Speaking of rumors, can we clarify one that might have an impact on the GSL and the SPHL? People talking about WTF quitting to play Dota 2, and
that's true.
How that's not happening.
Yeah, I talked to WTF today, and he definitely confirmed that while he may play Dota 2, he's still playing on full time.
Yeah.
So he'll be on Orange.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know there's talk about Wang Wang as well leaving.
Wang.
It's pronounced Wang Wang, sir.
Just like it's Rape.
Anyway, so we'll see when Orange Esports plays. Who do they play in that bracket? Let's see. They play Cut for Bieber. Wait, that's
Afraid.
That's Afraid. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they.
Actually, speaking of that, I heard they broke up.
Wait, really?
I heard Afraid broke up. Actually, I saw some people talking about that. Who knows? Again, how relevant that is anymore. Anyway, I don't want to go with no information really to work off. I don't really want to go too much into it. So,
well,
their Haunt Tour team has 5 players.
It does have 5 players. I just checked as well to make sure. Yeah.
Now that we're on to rumors, though, what do you think about the TTS scrimming with Trout this week? And I haven't seen Enzo around either.
Who knows what Trout's going to do? Let's be honest. He's been all over the place lately. I know people come to me as if I have the answer with Trout. Obviously, he's a good co-caster of mine for the longest time. He's a friend of mine, definitely. But I honestly am just as lost as everyone else as far as what Trout Mador is going to be doing. So
now we don't have to know if it's true or not, but do you think it would work out?
With TT Esports?
Yeah.
Well, the first thing is, he would obviously be replacing Enzo, correct? Who
playing the jungle spot?
Is he officially now gone? I mean, I think.
No, I don't know about that.
I don't know. I saw White replacing him on the weekend for the rest of the matches.
He's not on the Haunt Tour roster anymore, so there you go.
Oh,
that's as official as it gets, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he was scrimming with them. I do know that. I remember hearing about that. So possibly he could be replacing Enzo with TT Esports. Again, whether or not that actually happens, who knows? I know that he likes those guys, especially Heimer. He's good friends with him, so I can see that working out. But you're laughing. Why?
No, I think they are great friends. I just remember there's always I remember drama went down not too long ago between them, and there's always been just those guys are all characters, man. That's all.
Yeah.
So.
There's a lot of personalities on that team.
Yeah, a lot of strong personalities. So
a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Especially with Trout.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. Maybe Trout. Well, actually, can he do that? Could Trout now join TT Esports roster? No, I guess you can't actually. No, it's mid-cycle, so never mind. That wouldn't make any sense.
Right.
So you'd have to wait till at least next cycle. Maybe for GSL though, there is that possibility. Speaking of GSL starting next week,
true.
We'll get our answer. Join a team, and then who knows what happens after that.
I did hear they were looking for someone else because I know Heimer can be busy during the day, for school and things like that. So I know that they are looking for more people. I heard rumors of Sender joining them, a bunch of different stuff. So yeah, we'll have to see.
All right. Gotcha. Okay. FJ with Love I think he's kind of confirming that Afraid is actually fine, and they've been scrimming with him lately.
Yeah,
so
Penny just sent me a Skype as well.
Penny's freaking out, what are you saying? Actually, here we go. Joel M. Not true. Okay, there you go. It's not true, apparently. So what I'm making up was bullshit, so don't worry about it. How's Diva doing?
A bunch of chicks are oh my gosh, it's Diva! Such a big boy!
That's not what anyone said.
Well, you guys
No.
Must be reading a different chat.
Oops. Anyways, okay, so well, we're on the rumor mill now. I mean, is there anything else out there that you guys have heard about or want to talk about maybe? Or on that...
I heard that B-Kid's dog is replacing him on the scene, but that's...
Okay, that picture, man, that picture. Started last week, and it's just...
I heard
going
Tralf
around.
and Testy are making a new team together.
They were, you know what? They were playing high TM. Angry Testy was actually playing on his main account. It's like 1927 or something like that, MMR, and they were queuing up together. Is Tralf actually still streaming? I think
Yeah, he
might
is. He's
be,
still
but
shirtless too.
Still shirtless, as always.
Yeah.
Streaming the shirtless. All right. So yeah, that's. I do kind of wonder if Angry Testy will like ever again. How was Angry Testy as a teammate, Emperor? I mean.
I actually thought he was one of the most respectable people I've ever played with in my 8-year history of playing competitive MOBA games.
Whatever. We played together for a bit. Come on, dude.
Yeah, no, Angry Testy definitely like 2 tiers up in respectability there.
Yeah.
No, he was just very professional. He didn't have a lot of time to scrim, and of course with his business going on, it's hard, but he was always extremely professional. He would look over every game he played and admit his faults, admit his mistakes, and even if the game loss wasn't directly because of him, he'd find a way to take responsibility for it and see what he could fine-tune. So he was always on top of his game like that. He never had ego getting in the way of improving his game. So yeah, definite professional. I guess that's the best way to put him.
Yeah. All right. Interesting. Yeah, that would be. Again, he is a great player. So you know whether or not he eventually joins the team, though, who knows? By the way, when do rosters lock for Han Tour? Do they ever is that after cycle 6? I thought it was actually. When do
At
they
the
lock?
beginning of cycle 7, rosters are locked permanently for the season.
Okay.
Oh shit.
So yeah, if there are gonna be any more roster changes, it needs to happen this weekend basically, or going into next week, pretty much.
The beginning of cycles, so they're locked for
Next
5
weekend.
weeks.
They're locked all the way to the grand finals. Yeah,
Yes.
that makes
Wow,
sense to
yes.
me. I mean, it's like
No, I like it.
Well, any league really does that. I mean, you think NBA, NFL. I don't know what the European soccer leagues do. Oh, sorry, football. I don't know what they do, but yeah, so makes sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically, since it's such a long tour, it's to prevent, say, okay, bam, I placed 3rd in Han Tour. My team succeeded. Well, let's take a look at spots 5 through 8. Which good players on there didn't qualify? Well, why don't we kick out my player to replace him with him, and let's send a super stacked team to the finals. It prevents that, promotes teams sticking together. That's why we have all the roster lock rules. That's why we have all the, the roster addition rules. It's to prevent people from getting screwed out of their rightful place in a tournament.
Speaking of rules, this is actually a fun discussion topic, I'm sure. It's been on the forums, and going back to the Stay Green complexity situation, Stay Green more so. There's been, the accusations of ghosting, as it's called. What I want to focus on, though, is more the pause side. Do you guys think there is a problem right now with pauses? And if so, do you have an immediate fix for that, or do you think it can be fixed? I mean, Sam, I think it's important to start with you, of course, being the organizer. Well, do you have any take on that situation?
It's actually something that's going on right now in my Han Tour chat. It's something that they're talking about. I actually was sent a proposal today of different solutions of how we could handle that situation, because we polled about 15 competitive players, and all but one admitted that there was a problem with possible ghosting. One of the things that people are saying is that, like a possible rule, we have 2 or 3. You'll probably see a finalized rule go up either today or tomorrow before the games. But just to give you guys a little preview, if a game is being streamed, neither team is allowed to pause for more than 5 minutes until creeps spawn / minute 1, unless there's an unintentional disconnection, such as an internet drop or a timeout. So basically what that does is it prevents teams from pausing the game, waiting 5 minutes, seeing what the lanes are going to look like, then unpausing, and it handles that. And what it also handles is, teams pausing with no apparent reason, not saying anything, and then just waiting till 6 or 7 minutes and then unpausing. Because what it does is, you're right, with a 6-minute delay and a 10-minute pause timer, there is that possibility. Do I think it's currently going on? Absolutely not. Knowing the captains of these top teams and who's playing on Honcast, I don't see any of those players actually ghosting. Yeah. But alas, the problem is still there. I think that's currently a good solution. It's definitely open up for discussion, but I think that's what we're leaning towards right now.
Yeah, there is always the case of, unless a player disconnects for a valid reason. That's always such a gray area. It's like, even like, exactly, PP, pull the plug, and it's like, oh well, he actually disconnected, guys. I mean, so that's kind of the line there. Again, it's I do think something needs to be done. I actually do like that suggestion, but you know, I think it is also one of those issues that ultimately will never, unfortunately, be. There has to be some level of trust you have with the players to an extent that we aren't going to have 6-7 minute pauses every single game, and there's definitely something I think you can do about that, and you know, maybe it is something like that rule. I will say, you know, there are a couple. I like how people say just black out the screen if it happens. Well, you don't know how delay works. Basically, with the game start, if we were to black out the screen as soon as a pause happened, 6 minutes later is when it would black out. You would still see the stuff leading up until that point. You can't just black out the delay part. That's not how it works, unfortunately. So again, it's kind of I know it can be a difficult thing to kind of understand right off the bat, but so that's kind of off the table. But then there's a whole increase of delay to 10 minutes. I think you're going to do a point personally of it's where do you draw the line of we're hurting the community, we're hurting the spectators just to try to make sure something that probably is pretty minor issue, and at least again in my opinion in the first place, just to try to make sure it's fixed. So that's kind of my take on that whole situation. Anyways, I mean, anything else before we do move on? We do have one more segment I actually want to get into here. So doesn't sound like it. Okay. Now, what I do want to do here to wrap things up, I guess, at this point, we got our Honcast Top 10 Community Rankings, actually released just earlier today. Big shout out to Fantasy, once again, who really does a great write-up for these. You know, I take care of actually gathering the votes and putting the list together, but he does the hard work. I mean, he's the one that actually does this awesome articles. It is on Honcast.com right now, and you can check it out for yourself. But as always, I figured we go ahead and go through our personal rankings to see, you know, how each of us decided to vote here for these Honcast Top 10, where they stand right now. So, well, I figure, Sam, we'll start with you, since you're the first one there. Are you ready?
Let me pull up my list. One second, sir. I sent it to you yesterday. All right, yeah, I got mine.
Okay. So, Sam, well, what is your top 10 rankings?
My current top 10 rankings are Trademark Esports, number 1. Stay Green, number 2. I think that if Stay Green wins this cycle and the next, that we will see a shift in that 1-2 spot. But as of right now, Trademark 1, Stay Green 2. I have Complexity 3, Q Squad 4. Recently, Lions has been placing above them, but until, you know, I see it 2 or 3 times in a row, I'm still going to put QSQ above Lions. I have Absolute Legends 6. That one was a little bit hard for me to push. I do believe that they are a top 7 team. I do think that they should be there, but it goes back to what we talk about every single week, is that do they have the drive to be there? I think that if they put in work, like last week, they put in so much time to work and they looked great, but now I see them, they're not really scrimming that much anymore, so it's really tough. I have TT Sports at 7, OTP at 8, Team Minstrel at number 9, and then Pencils at 10. Looking back, I would probably put Pencils a little bit higher.
Yeah.
But besides that, I think it's good. And once again, I think Orange Esports belongs on that list, but I am not putting them there just because.
How do you do it? Yeah.
Exactly.
Where are the results? So, OTP is going to be the interesting one for me personally, because again, with their whole situation, especially from this last weekend and all that drama that went around them, and how they even talked about they might be breaking up because of this. I think that has been clarified that they are still going to move on and, you know, play still, of course. But anywho. Will come back to us. So there you go. There was Milk Fats, though. Top 10 rankings right there. Again, I get an idea of not necessarily the correct rankings, but at least an idea of what Sam is thinking with his top 10. So moving along, though, I think we got Emperor next in line. So if Emperor, if you want to go over your top 10 now.
Yeah. Like once again, only NAEU region here accounted for. Everything else is just not fit into it. They could be number 1. They could be number 8. It's just not counted for part of this list. So anyway, number 1, Trademark, consistency. Number 2, Stay Green. You know, they've shown that they're contenders for the throne. Complexity, number 3. They haven't really done poorly enough to lose that spot in my book, and they're showing signs of revitalization. Number 4, Lions. They upset Complexity a lot. They put up good games against the best teams. Very sound strategy, very dedicated players. They're my number 4. Number 5, QSQ, because I feel like they're inconsistent. Number 6, TTES. Once again, a little bit inconsistent. They have a lot of high skill cap. They just got to put it all together here, broaden the amount of strategies that they can run, practice more, and I think they can climb. Number 7, AL. That's taking into account the not the dedication, not the being able to practice, not like if they were able to had to forfeit and weren't able to place higher because of it, or use different players, or Cookies was with his girlfriend, or whatever it was. Ideal circumstances right now, I place them at number 7, with a lot of growth potential. Number 8, I put down as Mistral, and actually that I don't think that was even based off of results or Hontor. I think that was based off how I saw them scrimming this week. They looked very strong. They looked a little bit, they looked stronger than I thought. Before, I might not have even put them in the top 10, but they've been looking more powerful lately. Number 9, Pencils, just because I've seen them take games against a lot of these great teams, but I haven't seen the discipline to close out the victory in a very tight fashion. I see them drop a lot of games because of it. So if they take it a little bit more seriously, a little more disciplined approach in game, I think they can break top 6. 007 was my number 10, although that might be replaceable with Afraid.
Yeah.
Just not enough data really to place it more. I sort of had to put a number 10 slot in there.
Yeah, so obviously at the end it can get difficult. So no OTP on your list. Again, that's definitely something I'm looking
yeah,
at.
they haven't been on my list for the entirety of Hontor. I thought they were a team that always could make it, but I thought their victories were sort of just... They were there. They were shocking victories, though.
Ranked like number 7 the entire time of Hontor.
Yeah, but that doesn't... once you have a decent seed in the Hontor, you're playing against worse teams at your first rounds. You're always going to make it through. I thought they were a team that could be higher up, but I never thought they were a team... Like, they were protected sort of by their spot, in my opinion. They weren't... I mean, they had that really good cycle where they broke through, but I just...
You know what?
Even in my experience playing against them, it just wasn't... Just didn't feel that way, so...
Emperor, you weren't even man enough to fill out the bracket I gave you last weekend. You weren't even man enough. You don't.
But that's
what we were betting $20 on that, and you wouldn't even do it.
Wait, for $20, I would do it. I thought you backed out of the 20.
Oh, you backed out, and you backed out of our 1v1.
I don't know who's right.
On tonight. Wait, you can't play
1v1. Wow.
You know what? All right.
We gotta cast
We're
that.
gonna settle this with my top 10.
What do you got, Beef?
Sure.
All right, where did it go? We got Trademark Esports up at number 1. Got Stay Green at number 2. Complexity Gaming moving up into the number 3 slot. You know, I think they've been looking really good. I think they've been looking revitalized and definitely belong in that number 3 spot right now. Lions Esports above Q Squad in the number 4 spot. A lot of that coming down to, I think Lions is just a little bit more consistent right now. Lions also 2-0'd QSQ in that winner's bracket, so got them there. QSQ solid at number 5. TT Esports hanging in there at number 6, and
copying
I've
my
got to
list.
give What's that?
Said you're copying my list.
You know what, Emperor? I probably sent this before you.
It gets different now.
So TT Esports, I got to give a shout out to Leon Black. I had made a post when there was the discussion about TT Esports a week ago, and I said I didn't see them cracking top 6 again, and they proved me wrong. They've been looking really, really good in the last 2 weeks. So big shout out to their team, and I'm hoping that they're going to be able to find somebody to replace Enzo because they have been looking good again. One Trick Pony, I've got them at number 7. There's kind of an asterisk there as to if they keep playing. I feel like they could insert any given average player into the last spot and still keep that number 7 spot. Absolute Legends coming in at number 8 like everybody else. A little bit disappointed in them in the last week, but I think they still deserve this number 8. Got Pencils coming in at number 9 off of their performance against AL and TFR, as well as TT Esports. I took all those games to 3-game series. Looked phenomenal last weekend. I have them at number 9, and Mistral Multi-Gaming at number 10 with their 2-0 over OTP.
There you go. All right. So again, an idea of what those 3 are thinking. Now it's my turn here. To go overhead and give the final list before we get into how it officially broke down with the post that is on Honcast.com. So as far as my personal top 10, I have Q Squad number 1. I have no, just kidding. Trademark Esports number 1. Stay Green number 2. Again, I don't think that's really debatable at this point. Complexity number 3. Even that's pretty solid. So it looks like in fact all 4 of us going there. Then again, switching up a little bit, I got Lions actually in that 4th place spot because again, just their consistency, their results. Yeah, sure, there was that fact that they did eventually get defeated by Complexity, but you know, 1, that's respectable, and 2, there was that asterisk there. And they are still alive obviously in this cycle, so good in them number 4. TT Esports, I actually have breaking my my top 5. I got them at that 5th spot. Again, they have been impressive lately, and maybe it is a little bit of the fun factor, running that artillery that they've been doing, thinking outside the box. Maybe it's a little bit of bias there for sure, but I think they are looking pretty damn good. And just like you said, putting that 5th, even if it happens to be Trofimdor especially for that matter, then, who knows where they can go. Q Squad at 6 for me. I do got AL at 7. I think you guys pretty much summed it up well with them. Pencils at 8 for me. They've been very impressive to me, and I think deserving a lot of credit for, the work that they've been putting in and the results that they've been showing. Afraid at number 9 actually coming out for me, so they broke my top 10, I think for the first time actually. And then Mist. I finally decided to put Mist on myself as well. That sounded weird. I've finally decided to put Mist on my top 10 as far as the rankings go. As I've been against them in the past, but they have been showing results, and they finally did break my top 10. So there you go. There's the top 10 community rankings according to us and our personal rankings. So now, let's actually take a look at, how the rankings shaped up here to pretty much finish things off. So here's the official rankings of how things look. So I'll go ahead and zoom in a little bit right here. There we go. So, as you can see, Trademark Esports, number 1. Again, not really a surprise. However, they only got 10 of the 12 first-place votes. Stay Green actually managed to pull in a couple of first-place votes. And, you could look at that as, again, Stay Green defeated Trademark in that GSL event, so I'm sure people looking at that and, taking that into consideration. But, I don't know. I think you still got to go with TDM number 1. Anyways, that's how it is. Complexity did finish number 3. That moved them up 2 spots. You got Lion in 4. Q Squad actually moving down 2 spots, but still 5th place. TT Esports in that 6th place spot. AL looks like they got 7th. Pencils at number 8. Orange is number 9. And then OTP staying on the top 10, but dropping 5 spots all the way down to number 10 as a result of these polls. So,
yeah,
you hate it.
You listed Orange, man. If I was even thinking about them, I would put them probably in my top 3 right now still. Or top 4. I didn't even realize, so I feel bad now.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's one of those cases Sam has talked about. They usually will be on the top 10 because some people remember and some people don't, but it's a fair argument. I mean, really, we don't have results. Although we know that they can play with the best, they aren't playing, unfortunately, on the international scene. So
it's true. It's true.
Where do you gauge that? Well, we'll get an idea with the Sound Blaster tournament at least. So
exactly.
Another reason to watch that event, of course.
I'm so stoked for that.
I am too. It is.
So much Han.
So much Han!
I cannot wait to cast him. Guys, I cannot tell you. It's been 5 days of no casting for me, and I'm dying.
You're looking more pale, Beef. You're like rocking a little bit.
I was okay for Monday, and then I got sick. I was like, uh-oh, going through casting withdrawals. It's just been getting worse all week. Yeah. I'm going to get home, and I'm going to cast tonight, and I'm going to get my energy back for tomorrow.
Oh, we got quite a run, because obviously not only did we kick things off at this weekend when finishing Cycle 6, we got GSL next week. We got the next weekend, of course, the Cycle 7 beginning. We got then the Sound Blaster event starting. And so, really, in the next 2 months, are going to just be packed, man, as far as coverage goes, all the way up to the Grand Finals of the Han Tour. So,
like, after the SBHL, it's like, what, 2 weeks until the GSL? After that, there's 1 week off?
Yeah, Thailand is at the very end of March. Then remember, you got PAX even before that. So, whew, Heroes of Newerth, man. We got plenty coming at you on Honcast and the Coldcast there from Beef. So, all right, I think we do got to wrap things up here. We are planning to do that CIS versus Southeast Asia match, and actually just a quick preview on that. That's going to be what's Cats Gaming. Now, people have probably heard of this team at least from the CIS region. Of course, they actually did go to the last DreamHack event. Had some fair results in the end. Were beat by the other teams, but still, they at least had their shining moments. They're going up against Focus. Focus is what I have them listed as. Focus Gaming, maybe, but actually
NXL Focus Esports.
Focus Esports, okay.
Yes.
I did get word Fantasy actually doing some research on these guys, and so apparently this Focus Esports team, they're the top team in Indonesia actually, and they even won their national championships, the national championship that they had. And, a very sound team. Apparently they also run, strats that we tend to see here even on Honcast. So,
yeah.
It's going to be fun to see, what they bring to the table against Cats Gaming.
Indonesia has been at the top of the MOBA scene for a while. I mean, back in the Dota
Yeah.
1 days, an Indonesian team, I think it was the Fnatic squad back then, actually was considered one of the best teams as well. So a lot of talented players from that area.
Yeah, hey, that's the first. I think it might be the first time we've ever cast an Indonesian team here on Honcast. So again, kind of breaking into that, the international scene. So which is very intriguing. All right, though, I think we got to wrap things up here for the podcast. I'll take a short break and then lead us into that. So to finish off the podcast here, as always, had a lot of fun. There was plenty to talk about, and we did. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, got your information, Phil. But I want to throw it across the board now, give you guys a chance to do your shout-outs. Sam, we'll start with you. What shout-outs do you want to make here?
I just want to give a shout out to all of my Hantour admins. They're doing a great job. Shout out to the people that write on Hantour.com. Every single day, there's division updates, Crowslaw, Blaze, Fantasy. These guys are keeping up-to-date information, not just on Diamond, but on every single division. And they've just been doing a great job. So if you guys haven't checked out their articles, go to Hantour.com. Shout out to Creative. I'm looking forward to PAX, looking forward to Sound Blasters Hero League. And as always, I mean, it's just a blessing to have Dwayne The Rock Johnson join us. Taking a break from his movie career to really come on this podcast it says a lot about
Even
him
the
as a
coolest
person.
of the cool love Han.
There you go. You know what? Can we work on Vin Diesel next week, Sam?
Yeah, I can do that.
Thank you.
Oh,
There you go.
all right.
Speaking of The Rock, Emperor, what do you got?
On to beef. I got nothing.
You're flattered now? All right. Beef, what about you?
Oh man, as always, big shout outs to Complexity, all the sponsors over there, especially Sound Blaster Creative for helping us out with the SBHL. Awesome people over there with a cool event. And of course, QPAD, PNY, Origin, Twitch, and G8 brand as well. Shout out to everybody watching. It makes our lives so much fun. And shout out to my dad. He's been waiting outside my front door for 15 minutes while I finish this podcast. He's going to help me move the rest of my stuff today.
Nice.
So I got to go let him in a minute.
All right. We'll let you get to that.
Dedication.
As far as myself,
Thanks, Dad.
shout out to Ryan for coming on and joining us here on the podcast. Definitely very well spoken and very well said. The product marketing manager, of course, for Creative, and looking forward to working more with them in the future. But again, that Sound Blaster event starts March 4th, and it's going to be a lot of coverage, a lot of content, $30,000 prize pool on the line. Cannot wait for that. But there's still so much more even in between that and then after. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be wrapping things up here. Shout out to you, the community, for tuning in. Shout out to Killer Orange behind the scene, of course. And, we are going to take a short break here. We're going to keep the stream live, though, because, again, kind of a benefit of doing a replay cast. No need for a delay. So we'll keep the stream live. We're going to take a short break here, though. But we will be coming back with that CIS versus Southeast Asian region matchup as it's Focus Esports taking on Cats Gaming. The final qualifying event for that Sound Blaster event that we're talking about. We'll see how the brackets officially shape up. So stay tuned, guys. Game 1 of that series is going to be coming up next. Sit tight.